Welcome to Americana Archives. Today's headline is Held Up on a Train. The subheadline says, The story is told by one of the cowards. It says, 5 or 6 years ago, I was booming along over an Arkansas railroad, and the time was 11 o'clock p.m. The one sleeper on the train had every berth taken, and the 2 passenger coaches were pretty well filled with men, women, and children. There were 12 men in the sleeper. Of these, 8 had their wives along. I had a revolver, and I presume most of the other men had. We were all asleep, and the train had stopped at a water tank in a lonely spot, when 3 desperados boarded the train. One got on between the 2 passenger coaches, threw open both doors, and standing on the platform in such a way that he could guard both coaches, he shouted, "Now then, the first one who makes a move will get a dose of buckshot." He had a double-barreled shotgun, and as he fired into either car, 3 or 4 or 5 people must have been hit. The second robber got on between the last coach and the sleeper, and the third on the rear platform of the sleeper itself. Both doors of this last car were thrown open together, and the 2 men entered from opposite ends. We were awakened from sweet slumbers by one of them calling, "Now, gents, turn out your valuables. We don't want to hurt nobody, but if a trigger is pulled, we'll open fire on the whole car." Well now, what would that belligerent editor have done under the same circumstances? They were desperate men, bent on desperate work, and old human life is worth no more than a pound of dog meat. His revolver would have been in his pantaloons at the foot of the berth, as mine was. His wife would have begged him for God's sake to give up everything, as mine did and all the other wives did. He would have realized, as we all did, that no revolver could be poked out from behind the curtains without being seen in a second, and that a single shot from any one of us would have exposed each side of the car to a fusillade of buckshot. It would have been the same had we been up and dressed and in our seats. There would have been a man to face us and another behind our backs. Just take a seat on a chair and see how quick you can pull a pistol from your hip pocket. Note the movements you had to make, and then assert, if you dare, that you could get the drop on 2 men whose hawk eyes were watching the move of every finger. The conductor and baggageman and brakeman were in the baggage car. They all had revolvers, but they saw at once that a shot from them would be the death of 3 or 4 passengers. A bullet may miss by a hair's breadth, buckshot can't help but it. The 2 men came down the car, each with a gun in his left hand and knife and revolver in his belt, and stopped at each berth. I had $185 and a gold watch and a diamond pin. My wife hid $135 of the money and the watch and pin before the fellows got to us. I handed out the other 50, and as it was crumpled up, it looked like a big roll. "All right, that's business," chuckled the man as he received it. "Now for your tickets." "Never had one." "Oh, you didn't? I'll look for that as I come back." In this way, the 2 fellows passed each other, taking whatever was handed out. And as they reached the ends of the car, one of them fired a shot which went through the roof, and next moment, they were off. No one in the passenger coaches had been robbed, and no one on the train had been injured. Why? Because all had exhibited common sense. That so-called bravery which the editor referred to and sized for might have tempted someone to fire his pistol. The result would have been the killing of half of us. Those men boarded the train with the determination to kill whoever resisted them, and they probably would have done it. And let me say that among the cowards in that sleeper were 5 ex-army officers, a Mississippian who had fought 3 duels, and 2 or 3 other men who would have shot down the man who impugned their bravery. This story originally came from the Detroit Free Press. This story came from the great state of Utah, being reported in the Salt Lake Herald of February 12, 1887. Thank you for joining us today. If you want to continue to uncover all of America's lost and forgotten history, then remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.